Let me rewind to 3 weeks earlier. My cousin Sophia had been planning her quinceañera since she was probably 7 years old. In our family, a quinceañera isn't just a party, it's a production. It's Disney World, the Super Bowl, and the Met Gala all rolled into one sparkly, emotional, catering-intensive event. Sophia had everything planned down to the last detail. The venue? Check. A gorgeous ballroom with crystal chandeliers that looked like they belonged in a palace. The dress? Custom-made, shipped from Mexico, fitting her like she was born to wear it. The court of honor? 14 perfectly coordinated couples, all rehearsed and ready. The choreographed dances? Hours of practice captured on video. Everything was perfect. Until it wasn't. 2.5 weeks before the big day, disaster struck. Not one disaster, multiple disasters, like the universe had decided Sophia's quinceañera was the perfect target for chaos. First, 3 of her damas got sick with the flu. Then, one of her chamberlains broke his ankle skateboarding. And the final blow? Her best friend and main dama, the one who was supposed to stand beside her through the entire ceremony, had a family emergency and had to fly to Arizona. I watched Sophia have a complete meltdown in our grandmother's living room. Tears were streaming down her face, smudging the makeup she'd been testing for the party. "It's ruined," she sobbed. "Everything is ruined. The choreography won't work. The entrance will look empty. The photos will be uneven." Our grandmother, Abuela Rosa, sat there patting Sophia's hand, making soothing sounds in Spanish. My mom tried to problem solve, suggesting they could rearrange the court, maybe hire some backup dancers, something. Anything. That's when Abuela Rosa looked directly at me. And I mean directly at me, with those eyes that somehow see into your soul and your future simultaneously. "Mijo," she said calmly, "you're about Sophia's height, no?" I should have seen it coming. I should have made an excuse, faked my own emergency, suddenly remembered an important prior commitment. But I just sat there like a deer in headlights. "Abuela, no," I started. "You love your cousin, yes?" She wasn't really asking. "Of course, but..." "Then you help her. This is family." And that's how, with 5 simple words, "This is family," my fate was sealed. The next 2 weeks were a blur of preparation that I never could have imagined. Sophia went from devastated to determined in about 30 seconds once Abuela Rosa volunteered me as tribute. She grabbed my arm with surprising strength and said, "We're going to make this work." "Make what work exactly?" I asked, though I already knew the answer and was deeply afraid of it. "You're going to be my dama," she said, like this was the most obvious solution in the world. The first challenge was the dress. Sophia's friend was slightly bigger than me, so theoretically, the dress would fit. When Sophia pulled it out of the garment bag, my jaw dropped. It was beautiful, I had to admit. Layers of soft pink tulle, delicate embroidery, and sparkles that caught the light. It was also unmistakably, undeniably, a dress. "I can't wear that," I said. "You can and you will," Sophia replied. "Try it on." Standing in Sophia's room, I stepped into the dress with all the enthusiasm of someone walking to their execution. Sophia zipped it up, and I turned to face the mirror. "Oh my God," we said simultaneously, her in delight, me in horror. It fit. It actually fit really well. "You look amazing." Sophia squealed, clapping her hands. I looked like a very confused guy in a prom dress, but there was no talking Sophia out of this now. She was in full quinceañera mode, and nothing would stop her. The next hurdle was walking in heels. Sophia insisted that everyone in the court had to wear heels for the choreography to work properly. She brought out a pair of silver heels. Modest height, thank God, but still heels. "I'm going to break my ankle," I protested. "Not if you practice," she said, shoving them into my hands. For the next week, I practiced walking in those heels every single day. Around the house, in the backyard, even in the garage when I thought no one was watching. My little brother caught me once and laughed so hard he nearly choked. I bribed him with $20 to keep quiet. Then came the makeup lessons. Sophia's older sister, Valentina, was a makeup artist, and she took on the challenge with disturbing enthusiasm. "Don't worry, Primo," she said, arranging approximately 4,000 makeup products on her vanity. By the time I'm done with you, your own mother won't recognize you. That's exactly what I was afraid of. She started with foundation, then concealer, then contouring, which I learned is apparently painting shadows on your face to change its shape. She did my eyebrows, applied eyeshadow in shades of pink and gold, added eyeliner and mascara and false lashes. Stop blinking, she kept saying as she tried to glue tiny strips of hair to my eyelids. When she finally let me look in the mirror, I didn't recognize myself. My face looked softer, more feminine. The cheekbones looked higher, the eyes looked bigger. It was weird and fascinating and terrifying all at once. See? Valentina said proudly. Gorgeous. We practiced the choreography every single night. Sofia's Quinceañera had 3 main dances: the waltz with her father, the group waltz with the full court, and a surprise modern dance number to a Bad Bunny song. I had to learn all the steps for the court dances, and let me tell you, dancing in heels while wearing a ball gown is an extreme sport. I stumbled, I stepped on people's feet, I nearly crashed into Sofia's Chamberlain at least 6 times. But slowly, awkwardly, I started to get it. The steps became muscle memory. The heels became less like torture devices and more like really uncomfortable shoes. Sofia was a relentless taskmaster. Again, she'd shout. Keep your shoulders back. Smile. You're supposed to look happy, not like you're being held hostage. My mom watched some of these practice sessions with an expression I couldn't quite read. At first, I thought she disapproved, but then she started giving me tips. Mijo, keep your chin up. It photographs better, she'd say. Or, smaller steps. Ladies take smaller steps. The weirdest part? I started getting used to it. Not comfortable exactly, but used to it. I stopped feeling quite so ridiculous in the dress. The makeup stopped feeling like a mask. The heels became almost manageable. A few days before the Quinceañera, we did a full dress rehearsal at the venue. I put on the complete outfit: dress, heels, makeup, jewelry, and the matching tiara that all the damos would wear. When I walked out, the entire family went silent. Then Abuela Rosa started crying. You look beautiful, Mijo, she said, hugging me tight. Your cousin is so lucky to have you. Sofia was crying too, ruining her test makeup. Thank you, she whispered. Thank you so much for doing this. That's when it really hit me. This wasn't about me looking ridiculous or stepping outside my comfort zone. This was about showing up for someone I loved when they needed me. This was about family. The day of the Quinceañera arrived with perfect weather and maximum chaos. I woke up early, my stomach doing backflips. Today was the day I'd officially cross-dress in front of approximately 200 relatives, family friends, and random people Sofia's parents had invited. No pressure. I arrived at the venue at noon for hair and makeup. Valentina had assembled what she called her glam squad. Basically her best friend, and Sofia's cousin from California who did makeup for a living. They descended on me like a very fashionable pit crew. 4 hours later, I was transformed. The hair extensions made my hair look long and elegant, pulled half up with curls cascading down. The makeup was flawless, dramatic but not overdone. The dress fit perfectly, altered to my exact measurements. The shoes were shiny and surprisingly comfortable after all that practice. I looked in the mirror and barely recognized myself. I looked like someone's sister, someone's daughter. I looked like I belonged in Sofia's court of honor. Ready? Sofia asked, appearing beside me in her stunning Quinceañera dress. She looked like a princess from a fairy tale, all white and gold and sparkling. As ready as I'll ever be, I said. The ceremony began. We lined up, the chamberlains in their tuxedos, the damos in our matching pink dresses. The music started, and we began our entrance walk, exactly as we'd practiced. One by one, each couple walked down the aisle to their designated spots. When it was my turn, I took a deep breath and started walking. Head up, shoulders back, small steps, smile. The room was full of people, all turned to watch. I saw relatives I'd known my whole life, family friends, people I'd never met. And they were all watching me, a guy in a dress, walk down the aisle at a Quinceañera. Here's the thing though. Nobody laughed. Nobody whispered or pointed or looked shocked. They smiled. Some people even looked a little teary. Because they understood, this was about love and family and showing up when it mattered. The ceremony was beautiful. Sophia had her father-daughter waltz, and there wasn't a dry eye in the house. Then came the court waltz, and we all took our positions. The music started, and we began the choreography we'd practiced 1,000,000 times. And it worked. It actually worked. We moved together like we'd been dancing for years, the dresses swirling, the music swelling. I didn't trip, didn't stumble, didn't crash into anyone. I just danced, and for a moment, I forgot I was wearing a dress and heels and false eyelashes. I was just part of something beautiful, something meaningful. The modern dance number was even better. We'd practiced this routine until we could do it in our sleep, and when Bad Bunny's voice filled the ballroom, the energy shifted. We went from traditional and elegant to fun and energetic. People were cheering, filming, dancing in their seats. When it ended, the applause was thunderous. Sophia was beaming, her court was celebrating, and I realized I was actually having fun. Like, genuine fun. Not this is a good story fun or I'm being a good cousin fun, but actual, real enjoyment. The rest of the party was a blast. We ate amazing food, danced to everything from reggaeton to cumbia, and took about 1,000 photos. People kept coming up to me, congratulating me, telling me how sweet it was that I'd stepped in for Sophia. One of Sophia's aunts hugged me and said, "You're a good boy. Not many people would do what you did." A little girl, maybe 7 years old, tugged on my dress and said, "You're so pretty. I want to look like you at my quinceañera." My own brother, the one who'd laughed at me practicing in heels, came up and said, "Bro, that was actually really cool. You killed it." Late in the evening, after most of the formal events were done and people were just partying, I found myself on the venue's terrace. My feet were absolutely killing me. Those heels had been comfortable for about 3 hours, and we were now at hour 7, but I felt amazing. Sophia found me there, still in her quinceañera dress, looking exhausted but happy. "Hey," she said, coming to stand next to me. "Hey yourself, birthday girl. Having a good time?" "The best time," she said. "And it's because of you. If you hadn't done this." She trailed off, getting emotional again. "Come on, don't cry. You'll mess up your makeup." Again, I teased. She laughed, wiping her eyes carefully. "I mean it, though. You didn't have to do this. This was beyond. And I know it was probably super uncomfortable and weird, and people probably said things." "Actually," I interrupted, "nobody said anything bad. Everyone was really cool about it. And honestly, it was weird at first, but then it was kind of, I don't know, enlightening." "Enlightening?" Sophia raised an eyebrow. "Yeah. Like, I spent 2 weeks learning to walk in heels, getting makeup done, wearing dresses. And it gave me a whole new respect for what you girls go through. These heels are instruments of torture, by the way. My feet may never recover." She laughed. "Welcome to being a woman." "Also," I continued, "I learned something about myself. I learned that I care more about showing up for people I love than I care about what other people think. And that's actually a pretty good feeling." We stood there for a moment, looking out at the party through the glass doors. Inside, our family was dancing, celebrating, creating memories. "You know what the craziest part is?" I said. "What?" "I actually had fun. Like, once I got over the weirdness and stopped worrying about what everyone thought, I actually enjoyed myself. The dancing was fun, the outfit was kind of cool, and being part of your special day? That was worth everything." Sophia hugged me tight, and I hugged her back, not even caring that we were wrinkling our expensive dresses. "Thank you," she whispered. "I love you, cousin." "Love you too, Sophia. Happy quinceañera." The photos from that day are some of my favorites. There I am, in a pink ball gown and heels, standing with Sophia's court of honor. My makeup is perfect, my hair looks great, and I'm genuinely smiling. You can't tell I'm a guy unless you look really closely, and even then it's not obvious. Those photos sit in our family album now, and they've become a favorite story at family gatherings. "Remember when he wore a dress to Sophia's quinceañera? They say, laughing but with affection, never with meanness. Sophia framed one of the photos, the one of us together, her in white and gold, me in pink, both of us laughing, and gave it to me as a thank you gift. It sits on my dresser, and every time I see it, I remember that day. I remember being terrified, then nervous, then surprisingly okay, and finally, genuinely happy. I remember learning to walk in heels and discovering that makeup is basically art. I remember dancing in a ballroom full of people and feeling like I belonged there. But mostly, I remember why I did it. I did it because family shows up. Because love means stepping outside your comfort zone. Because sometimes, the most meaningful thing you can do is say yes, when someone needs you, even if what they're asking seems impossible or crazy or really, really weird. Would I do it again? Honestly? Yeah, I would. Not regularly. Those heels really are torture devices, but for the right reason, for the right person, absolutely. My little brother still brings it up sometimes, thinking he's teasing me. Remember when you wore a dress? He'll say, grinning. Yeah, I reply. Remember when I was a better person than you? That usually shuts him up. The truth is, I'm not embarrassed about it. I'm actually kind of proud. I did something difficult and uncomfortable because someone I loved needed me. I stepped into a role I never imagined for myself and made it work. I learned empathy, gained respect for experiences different from my own, and helped create a perfect day for my cousin. Plus, I look really good in pink. The photos don't lie. Sophia graduated high school last year and is now in college. She's studying event planning, no surprise there, and she says she wants to help plan quinceañeras professionally. She tells everyone about her quinceañera, about how it nearly fell apart, about how her cousin saved the day by becoming a dama. He wore a dress and heels and learned all the choreography in 2 weeks, she brags to her friends. That's real family right there. And you know what? She's right. That is real family. Real family shows up, even when it's hard. Even when it's weird. Even when it means wearing a ball gown that cost more than your car insurance and learning to walk in heels that feel like you're balancing on knives. So yeah, I was the princess at my cousin's quinceañera. And honestly, it was one of the best experiences of my life.